everyone. Welcome to the Alliance Française of Washington, D.C. My name is Natasha Zavazk. I'm in charge of cultural programs and social media. We have here with us also Executive Director Sarah Diligenti. And it's just amazing to see so many of you. We had almost 200 people signed up for this workshop today. It's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so delighted to have Anina Belle and Sébastien Giannini back with us. I actually met Anina Belle over Instagram. And it was actually Salade Niçoise which made me discover Anina Belle's blog. So a couple of years ago, I was searching for a light and flavorful recipe for my lunch during this hot DC summers. And this beautiful pictures of Salade Niçoise attracted my attention. And I made it a couple of times. And then I thought Anina Belle would be the person to introduce our members to the French Riviera cooking and way of life. So I contacted Anina Belle and the rest is history. We're so just delighted to have you over and over again. And we've had a few events already, each of them are very exciting and fun cooking demo. All of them are, by the way, on our YouTube channel, so you can always check them out. So Anina Belle is a great blogger, writer, photographer, cook, a wife, and a mother of 2 kids. And if for some reason you haven't followed her on Instagram or haven't checked out her blog yet, it's a must. Her following actually has grown enormously since the beginning of the pandemic, and it's great to see her tap into new exciting projects, like, for example, you may have heard about Soup Sunday Challenge or this new one, Salad Saturday series, which Anina Belle, I'm sure, will talk more about. Anyways, she transforms her husband gastronomic recipes, who used to be an executive chef in France, Canada, and the United States, and used to manage kitchens with over 150 people, into easy to make, great tasting recipes for all of us, people busy with work or kids. So today, Anina Belle will be showing us a quintessential French Riviera recipe, a Salade Niçoise, and we'll also share her tips on how to make a perfect French baguette. Okay, are you ready? Let's go then.
So good morning, everyone. Bonjour, or good afternoon. Bienvenue dans notre cuisine. Welcome to our kitchen. This is our home. My name is Anina Belle. My husband, Sébastien. We have lived in the Washington, D.C. area since 2016. Before that, we lived in Montreal for 4 years. But we lived in the south of France for 8 years together. It's where we met. It's where we fell in love. We were married in the city of Nice. So La Salade Niçoise is particularly important to us. And we're really excited to kick off the Salad Saturday series. It's hashtag Salad Saturday series, where we'll be doing 5 weeks of live cooking lessons every Saturday to talk about French salad recipes that are actually inspired by French cities. So today we're doing La Niçoise. Tomorrow we'll be doing, or next week we'll be doing La Parisienne, and then we'll be doing La Lyonnaise and La Tropézienne, and then La Grenobloise. I can never pronounce that word. Oh my gosh. I am American-Canadian, grew up between the United States and British Columbia, where my mom is, and she just logged in. So thank you, Mama. Bonjour. And I left Canada, British Columbia, when I was 23 years old as an exchange student, where I met my husband, Le Chef. He was executive chef of a 5-star hotel and restaurant in Auribeau-sur-Seine, which is in the backcountry behind Cannes. And we met and were engaged 3 months later, and the rest is history. So I've been cooking with him for how many years? 19? Yeah. Oh my gosh, really? No, 17. 17 years, I think. And we have 2 beautiful kids. And it's really after the birth of my daughter that I kind of took a step back and wanted to think about how we were eating and this incredible level of cuisine that we were able to have at home. And also I realized I was becoming a much better home cook from just watching my husband, or through osmosis really. And I really started to sit down and write down those recipes. So all the special recipes that we were cooking at home, I wanted to preserve them. And that's how Le Chef's Wife started. And so it's been a blog that's been going on since 2018. My daughter was born in 2017. And I'm really excited. I have over, I think, 100 recipes on the blog now that are mostly French Riviera cuisine, though there's also some French recipes like soupe à l'oignon, and also some of my family childhood recipes like Swiss fondue, special family recipes that are on the blog. And one of the pandemic revelations that I had was learning how to make French baguettes. I had never baked before. I am not a baker. It's not something that this intimidated the heck out of me. And I realized that you could actually make really good baguettes at home. They are, you know, they're fresh and crusty. They're crusty on the outside and really nice and soft on the inside. And when you don't have access to a top tier boulangerie every single day like you do in France, it's really nice to be able to wake up in the morning at 7 a.m., put the yeast to rise, and have hot crusty baguettes 2 hours later. So I really appreciate that. And we're so glad to share that with you. So we're going to start, because we're going to try and keep the time as close to around an hour and 15 minutes or so as possible. And we're going to start with the baguettes. So if you're cooking along with us, then please make sure that you are, if you follow the instructions, you will have already proofed your baguettes and you've let the flour rise for an hour. So I wanted to show you what it looks like.
I'm so sorry, Anina Belle, to interrupt you, but someone just shared their screen, probably by mistake. Can you please stop? It's Janet Young. Janet Young, can you please stop sharing your screen? Hello?
Can you still see me? Can everyone still see me? I can continue on, even if we see, oh, you can't. You can't see me.
Yeah, we can see you, but in a small square, sort of. Janet Young, can you please stop sharing your screen? I'm trying to. Yeah. Hi, can you please stop sharing your screen?
Gotta love technology. It's amazing.
You have to go down on the bottom of your screen. Where is this green button? Share screen, and you should click on stop sharing.
On Zoom there.
Yeah, on Zoom. You see the green button right at the bottom in the middle?
You have to go into Zoom first. There we go.
Voila.
Ah, voila.
Okay, great. Okay. Thank you.
Janet, I have a lot of things in common with you. I was struggling with technology 5 minutes ago. Anyways, so these baguettes are the quickest, simplest baguettes. This is, if you've never baked before, you can make these baguettes. There are so much more sophisticated and elevated ways to make baguettes. We're not going to go into those today. We're not using a sourdough starter. We're assuming that you have not planned anything in advance and you just really want a good baguette quickly. So I like to use active dry yeast. This we keep in the fridge and it keeps for months. It's really, really good. This is from Bob's Red Mill and it looks like this. You can see that it's really fine yeast like this. Bob's Red Mill active dry yeast. You let that sit in, so I warm up some water for 1 minute. 1 second. Oh, 1 second. See, now I'm having issues. Quick time. So you warm up some water for 1 minute because you don't want it hotter than 1 minute. And you're going to add the yeast and a tablespoon of honey into a big mixing bowl like this. If you don't have a pastry scale, I highly recommend that you get one. They're about $25 and they make cooking and baking so much easier. And then we're going to use a tablespoon of honey. We have a really good honey here that is from Miel de la Vallée du Taume. That is from the French Embassy. They have a boutique in the bottom of the French Embassy, which is a little known secret, which we are very excited to have access to. So 1 tablespoon of honey. And then we're going to add the water. And you want the water to be hot, but not too hot that it's going to kill the yeast, right? Because yeast is a living organism. And you're just going to pour it right in there and then let it sit for 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, if the yeast is live and active, it's going to look like this. And I'm going to show you here. See, it's nice and foamy. If your yeast is not foaming like this, it's really, it's time to abort your mission. It means your yeast is dead. And it's not worth using because you will never get a good rise about with those baguettes. So let it sit, and after 10 minutes, it will look like this. I'm going to move these baguettes out of the way. Merci. And then we're going to add 2.5 cups of flour into the yeast mixture that's been heating here. And we're just going to dump it in. There's no need to be fancy about it. We can just put the flour right in there. Let's see. I love that my husband is an amazing sous chef as well. He's like the best sous chef in the whole wide world. And then we're gonna add your fleur de sel, and you're gonna add it right in to the water, yeast, honey, and flour. And then you can either take a spatula, or else if you have a dough hook, and a dough hook looks like this. Natalia, if I can ask you to spotlight yourself on the screen as well, I don't see you. Dough hook looks like this, and you can use it to nicely incorporate the flour in, I'm just gonna move the screen a little bit, into the bowl here, and you're just mixing it roughly. You want to make sure that all the water and flour is well incorporated together. And it's going to make kind of a shaggy dough. And shaggy, I think, is a good word for it because it really kind of looks like a big shag carpet.
Anina Belle, can you repeat the name of this device? People are asking.
This is a dough hook.
Oh, the dough hook.
Okay. It's a dough hook. Now, this is absolutely not necessary. You can also just mix with a spatula, or you can mix with a spoon. But a dough hook is better because it better incorporates all the dough and the water together. So as you can see, it's a really shaggy dough. And we're actually not going to play with it too much. I love the smell of dough and yeast together. Yes, Danish whisk is another word. I do believe that it originates from Denmark. So we're just going to mix it so that I'm getting all the flour off the sides. And you see, we've got, kind of looks like dough spaghetti mixed all together. And we're going to cover this up with a kitchen towel. And we're going to let this, no, you do not want to add butter. There's no butter to be added. You don't need any fat content. This is really just flour, yeast, honey, and water. And this, I mean, I love knowing exactly what's in my bread. If you ever, thank you, yes, olive oil. Haha, I appreciate that,
I was about to
Lauren.
say, it was on your recipe.
Olive oil, thank you. We add olive oil. Olive oil is the Provençal touch. Thank you very much for reminding me. Is the Provençal touch. It is optional. You don't need to add olive oil. I like the taste of olive oil. So you're going to let the dough prove for, thank you very much, Lauren. You're going to let the dough prove for 1 hour, and you're going to cover it with a towel just like this, and you're going to sit it in a warm spot. My grandmother, Nanny, my French Canadian grandmother, she used to put it on top of the freezer or the refrigerator, and it would, the heat of the motor would keep the dough even warmer. I found I don't even need that. I can just sit it out anywhere as long as there's not a draft, and let it rise for 1 hour. 1 hour later, it looks like this. So it's actually doubled in size. And you can see there's air bubbles that are through this as well. C'est parfait, chérie? Il dit c'est parfait. Okay, c'est bien. I have made these baguettes like hundreds of times now. I started to learn during the pandemic, as I said, and it's just brought my family so much joy that I continue to go back to this recipe so many times. So we're now going to roll the baguettes. I'm going to bring the camera down really to the countertop so you can really see how I'm moving, because this is the technique part, and that's really the only difficult part about making baguettes is rolling them out. No, je vais le bouger comme ça. Okay. So you start with a clean countertop. I was rolling out baguettes just a few minutes before this. And we're going to put flour all over the countertop to keep the dough from being sticky. Now, dough is a living organism, and it changes from day to day, given the temperature outside, given how much air conditioning you put in your house, given so many different factors. So I always like to feel my dough. There's a really nice kind of tactile sense to dough. I'm going to just knead it a few times, and by kneading, I'm putting my palm down and rotating it each time. I'm folding it over like this, putting my palm down, rotating, putting my palm down, rotating. So it's getting into like a more unified feel. You no longer have the shagginess to the dough. And I'm going to pick up some of the extra flour here by rolling it around, and you've got a nice little ball. That took less than 30 seconds. Then I'm going to cut this dough in half to roll out the individual baguettes. Merci, chérie. So this is a pastry cutter. This is actually a scooper that I got from my friend Tony's boutique in Summerland, South Carolina. But you can use any sharp blade really to cut through the dough here. And you want 2 even sized lobes, I guess. And so we're gonna roll out one at a time. You take your first ball, I'm just swirling it around to get a little bit more flour. And I'm gonna do the same process that I did. It's a little bit wet, so I'm putting a little bit more flour. Je peux te demander de mettre la clim à nouveau. Oui. Oui, we turned off the air conditioning a few minutes earlier, and well, I'm kind of regretting it because it's very hot right now.
Did you do it for the baguettes? Did you turn off the air conditioner for the baguettes, or just because?
No, we did it for the nanny who's taking care of our kids.
Okay. No, I was just wondering, maybe it helps.
No, that was not for the baguettes. I'm not that committed to the baguettes. I'm going to put this back down so you can really see what I'm doing here with my hands. Now I've got kind of like a flat ball, and we're going to fold it over like an envelope, okay? So I'm kind of shaping it with my hand so it's a little bit more of a rectangle shape. And I'm going to take the top part and fold it over 2/3 of the way as if you were folding a letter. Then I'm taking my fingers and I'm just pressing down, bing, 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 like that. With sound effects, it's always kind of nice too. And then folding it over 1/3 of the way, the rest of the way. Now I don't have very much flour left on my counter, so I'm putting a little bit more flour out. Ding, ding, ding. And now I'm going to start rolling it out. So I'm going to put even pressure on my palms. And I've sealed the baguette on the sides here. Even pressure with my palms, and I'm going to push down. And then I'm going to bring up the baguette to the top of the counter, and I'm going to roll down with even pressure on my fingers and palms like this. And little by little, you're getting the famous baguette shape. And I'm spreading my fingers out as I'm doing it, doo, 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 and making sound effects. It makes me happy to make baguettes. And by rolling only in one direction, you're avoiding getting like a bulbous shape in the center that comes from rolling up and down like that. So you just continue to roll down. And I'm actually really happy with this shape. I think we've got a nice long baguette here. It's about 12 inches or so. I'm going to take a little bit of flour and I'm going to put it on the top of my baguette pan. Now, a word about pans. If you have a baguette pan, this is what a baguette pan looks like. That's great to use it. I love it because it has the perforations and the air circulates through the baguette pan really easily. But this recipe, I've done it so many times on just a cookie sheet. So if you just have a cookie sheet, use a cookie sheet. If not, baguette pan. If you're using the cookie sheet, make sure you put lots of flour so that the baguette does not stick onto the cookie sheet. And there I just put a sprinkle of flour on top of the baguette pan. And now I'm going to roll out my second baguette as well. So you have one. And we're going to let this rise for 30 minutes while we do la salade niçoise. And we're going to do the second. Does anyone have questions about rolling out the baguettes? I'm doing the second one in like real time.
I just want to see how great it is to see other people doing that on camera. Thanks for following and share the photos with us later. It's always great to see them.
Please, please, please share the photos with me on Instagram. Tag Le Chef's Wife in them and I will reshare them. It makes me so happy. Like, I can't even explain to you how happy it makes me when I see someone else putting, sharing a recipe that they learned from my blog and bringing it into their own home recipe rotation. It is incredibly gratifying for me. And that's why I do this. So please do share. Thank you. And please leave comments on the blog as well on the recipes. So we have our little envelope shape now. And no oil on the baking tray. And now we're just rolling down again. So I'm putting the pressure on my palms and my fingers. Now, I'm going to finish up this baguette and then I'm going to leave the workstation to my husband, who's going to show you how to make a salade niçoise. But I'm doing something right now that annoys all chefs. is that I have a dirty workstation right now, and he has to make that salade niçoise on a dirty workstation. So I'm gonna do it quickly now. So we have our second baguette that is all rolled out. And now we're gonna score the baguettes. So there's two different ways of scoring the baguettes. Are there any questions I should answer here? Oh, he's cleaning it up with the scraper. J'ai demandé s'ils ont des questions. Any questions?
Yes, there is one, Anina. It's should I put oil on the baking tray?
No, no oil on the baking tray, just flour.
I have a question, actually. I was preparing the dough earlier, and it was kind of sticking to my fingers. Was it normal, or should it?
So it all depends on the humidity in the air, and I would just add more flour. If it's sticking, just continue to add flour until it's not sticking anymore.
Okay. Cool.
So we're going to do two versions of cutting the baguette, or scoring the baguette, sorry. We're going to do the first version, which is the Baguettes for Beginners version, which is actually really, really nice. It is Sébastien who taught this to me. Scoring the baguette en épi. Yes, you can use whole wheat flour, though do know that the consistency changes as you change the flour. I use bread flour. You can also use all-purpose flour. Bread flour makes better consistency, but if all you have is all-purpose, they still work and they're still great. Whole wheat makes for a more dense baguette, so the result is different. So we're going to score the baguettes en épi. If you do not have a blade, okay, thank you. If you do not have a blade, a pastry lame like this, then I recommend that you score the baguettes with scissors as opposed to with a knife, because a knife will tug and pull at the baguettes and mess up the shape. Whereas if you use with scissors, it actually makes for a very clean scoring. So I'm going to move this back. Oops, sorry. And we're going to score en épi, which means alternating sides. And I'm actually going to cut in at a 45-degree angle, 3/4 of the way down. And then I'm going to just kind of fold over the épi shape. So it kind of looks like a big, I don't know, a leaf or a stem with the arrows pointing in different directions. And then for the other baguettes, I'm going to score using a pastry blade. There you are. That's what the pastry blade looks like. And I'm just going to score it. I'm going to put my blade in at a 45-degree angle as well to get a deep score. And I'm just doing 3 down the center.
Scoring, c'est la signature des boulangers.
Ah, this is the signature. C'est un bon point, chérie. Tu devrais le dire. Scoring is how a baker offers his signature. It's like an artist putting the signature on his artwork. That's how a baker puts a signature on his baguettes or her baguettes. So now I feel like I need to level up my scoring because I want my signature to be cool. But right now it's a pretty simple, straight down the middle scoring. I put 3 slits there, and then you have your form en épi. So we're going to let these sit for a half hour, and Sebastian's going to make la salade niçoise. In the meantime, voilà.
Mettre ça dessus, non?
Dessus? Ça te dérange pas que c'est dessus?
Si tu peux mettre sur un plat.
Ok.
Sur celle-là. Ici.
Ok, perfect. Non, c'est bon.
Mets-le là. Amène-moi les ingrédients, s'il te plaît.
Okay. So now I become a sous chef, and I'm not as good as a sous chef as he is.
No. We are going to bring all of the ingredients for you to see. Voilà.
So do you want to list out the ingredients?
Yes.
Please, Amen.
You have a nice tomatoes. Look at that. You have the yellow one, the big one, you know, red, the dark one. Est-ce qu'on nous entend?
Yes, they hear us.
Okay.
I want to make sure they see your head.
We have a nice
Mais voilà.
cucumber. Il faut qu'ils voient les ingrédients, non?
Oui.
The eggs. Je pense qu'il faut descendre
Okay.
sur la planche. We have a nice baby tomatoes, the young onions, very important, lemon, basil, red bell pepper, and no potatoes and no green beans, please.
Recule-toi pour qu'on te voit.
Let's start by cooking the eggs, you know, just 10 minutes with ebullition water.
Just a quick question to confirm, the temperature for baguettes is 460 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
The temperature for 460 degrees for the baguettes, yes.
Thanks.
Fahrenheit, yes.
So, when you have the first ebullition of the water, you can start to put the eggs. 10 minutes. Tu peux mettre le timer sur 10 minutes.
Yes. When he says ebullition, he means when the water starts boiling.
Yes. With my French accent.
Oh, there we go.
You put the eggs on the spoon and delicately you are going to put on the water. Slowly. Voila. 10 minutes. Let's start, you know, just by slice the tomatoes and put on the plate. We are going to make 2 plates, you know, flat plate like that, very nice, white, simple. The tomatoes, you know, you are going to cut this in a globe sense, very easy. Slice it. Je peux baisser la caméra, s'il te plaît. Un peu.
He's adding lemons onto the recipe. Yes, he is freestyling a little bit. Parce qu'il n'y avait pas les citrons dans la recette niçoise.
Ah, ouais.
Les gens
Il fait
sont
tellement
vigilants.
beau aujourd'hui. Il fait tellement beau aujourd'hui que.
He says it's so hot today that he wants to add even more freshness and acidity to the dish. So these are big beef heart tomatoes.
Yes.
And it's so wonderful. We're getting into tomato season, so we're going to have the most beautiful tomatoes. What's interesting too is seeing how he cuts them, because I've realized that my plating game has really gone up a notch by watching the details that he uses to cut his vegetables. Tu veux que je baisse ça un peu?
The tomatoes are sliced. We are going to dispose them on the plate because it will serve as the base, you know, and a lot of color, you know, for you. Don't hesitate to go around all of the plate.
Some people were asking about how many eggs and everything. So it depends on the recipe. If you go to the website, which has just shared the link, it was 2 eggs because the salad recipe was made for 2 people. Obviously, you're doubling everything if it's for more people.
Yes.
Exactly. We actually were just invited to a barbecue this evening, and so we are going to be bringing these Salade Niçoise to a barbecue. It's good to know that Salade Niçoise is actually a very impressive barbecue or potluck dish. So yes, if you're ever invited to a barbecue, you'll impress everyone with bringing Salade Niçoise.
Someone has a very important question. What knives do you recommend? Brand, style?
No, you know, for the tomatoes, it's very important to have, you know,
Serrated.
a very nice slice, you know, and it stay, you know, the same size. This is what we want. Now we have the nice plate. Tu veux montrer les assiettes?
Wait, I'm going to move your cutting board over just a little bit back so that they can actually see you cutting here. There we go. So he has kind of laid the tomatoes out in the flat rounds all over the plate in different colors here. And that'll make for a really visually artistic presentation.
Now, what is very important, you know, is to put olive oil on the tomatoes with fleur de sel and a little bit of vinegar, not too much. Now we're making the serving for 4 people. We have a nice plate, you know, 1 plate for 2. The olive oil on the plate.
So you like to season almost every vegetable individually.
Yes.
So that you're really getting the flavor of the olive oil.
Fleur de sel. And vinaigre. Vinaigre à l'échalote. Vinaigre. Comme les
Vinaigre.
grands-mères. Like the grandmother. You go pas. Donc,
Sorry, what was the question? I didn't see the question that came in.
Is that salt? How
Yes.
many? Yes.
fleur de sel.
So fleur de sel is salt flour that comes from Camargue, the Camargue region. I don't know if you can see actually here. It's really a big grain, and this is what we love. It's a finishing salt, and it brings out a lot of flavor. If you put a little fleur de sel on a steak after you cook it, it's absolutely amazing.
Now we are going to slice the young onion very thinly, you know. Take the knife. On va émincer.
So fleur de sel, Lauren, you can buy, actually I have a boutique on lechefswife.com, and there is fleur de sel in the boutique. If you click on the link boutique, and you can have it delivered directly to your house.
Voilà. The young onion. The young onion and the tomatoes, you know, are going to leave a lot of flavor, you know, and to have, you know, all of the vegetation juice of the tomato go out and serve as a base, you know. Look at that. Now we are going to put a little bit of capers, flower of capers, this one on the salad. You dispose this everywhere, you know.
So if you just have caper berries, they work perfectly as well. We love the caper berry, or if you just have capers, they work perfectly as well. We love caper berries as well. You can use whichever one.
Now, the cucumber, very important. With the mandoline. The mandoline, what is very important, you know, for you, is to always go slowly with this one. If you start, you know, to go hard, it's a risk you can, you know.
You can cut, okay, let me say a word about this.
you cut both sides, you know, the cucumber, and you have more grip. When you have the grip, you know, it's very easy. Never go to an inclination, you just stay right. Is it correct?
Yes. So
Exactly.
they do sell mandolins that have a grip on top of them that you
Yes.
never cut yourself.
Yes.
He has like the professional mandolin that I'm always so afraid to use because you can literally take off half your finger. But just be careful. Be very, very careful.
Always go slowly. Il faut jamais forcer.
You should never force it because if it catches on the vegetable, that's where you can get hurt.
Yes. Yes.
But it makes for the most incredible vegetable thin slices. Who has a mandolin at home? To make comments.
Voilà. Now we have a nice slice of cucumber. We are just going to roll them to give some volume on your salad.
Someone says, Susan is saying, I don't have a mandolin. How do I cut the cucumbers in this case?
You can just slice them, you know, in a biseau, or you can slice them, you know, straight. You know, it's up to you.
You can leave them in rounds like a normal cucumber cutting, or else you can, because it'll be hard with a knife to get a strip this thin. Like, see how paper thin this is. It's better to just leave them in demi rounds or rounds. But for presentation's sake, if you have a mandolin, then you can make these ribbons that make for a really elevated presentation.
Yeah, it gives you volume, you know, and when you take one, you know, it's always more crunchy than just a more slice, you know, because on this you are on all of the length of the cucumber in the both sides, you know, and it's crunchy, it's very nice. Let's look at the first plate, you know, you see, and we just have half of the ingredients on it. Tu veux faire la deuxième assiette?
Oui. Okay, I'm going to move this up here. Can I do it?
Yeah.
So I would have never known to, thank you, babe. I would have never known to slice the cucumbers this way or to roll them this way in making a salad presentation. And this is part of what I really want to highlight with the Salad Saturday series, is that we will be looking at new ways and artistic ways to present your salad that really elevate the presentation, because a salad, I mean, the ingredients is key, having fresh ingredients, but you can have a salad, you can put everything together in a bowl and mix it up, and it tastes great, but it doesn't give you the same visual pleasure. And I really think, and I think the French have mastered this, is the visual pleasure is half of the enjoyment of eating. And so sitting in front of a beautiful plate, ooh, mine unrolled, is really so much more enjoyable, brings so much more joy than a big mash of ingredients together. Ooh. So we're going to continue rolling cucumbers. So this is a little bit finicky. It's quicker, of course, if you just sprinkle the cucumbers over that are in rounds.
No.
But look how pretty this is. Right? I think this is just such a joyful dish. Makes me very happy. Okay.
Now we are going to put, you know, on the top of the plate, some fava beans. This is a real recipe, the Niçoise recipe. We don't have the French bean, you have the fava beans because it's a summer season. You know, it's the meeting of friends, you know, you have the maraîcher and les pêcheurs.
The fishermen.
The fisherman, you know, who meet each other, you know, and the fisherman at the time, you know, very hard worker, you know, they just bring, you know, the ventrèche, you know, the belly of the tuna, and they cook this on the water and put a lot of olive oil after that. And the maraîcher just use the produce, you know, you have at the season, and we are with the fresh cucumber, tomatoes, the radish, you know, the young onion. The radish, we are going to slice them at the mandoline. When you have, you know, the radish, you always keep the head, you know, like that. You cut the leaf, you know, you keep the head. Why? Because they are going to help you to slice. We cut with a knife, oh, and with the head, it can help you, you know, to slice. And you have a nice slice. The nice slice, we are going to put them on the niçoise. On ne voit pas les assiettes.
Il faut que tu te recules, que tu restes là. So he's putting the radishes all over the salade niçoise, kind of like spreading them out.
Anina Belle, I have a quick question. When you leave baguettes out for 30 minutes, do you cover them with a towel or not?
No, they are uncovered.
Thanks.
And this is what my baguettes look like in the meantime. So you can see that they're getting fluffier and puffier. And we're just a few minutes away from putting them in the oven. So excited.
Now we are going to put the nice fava beans around.
Are you going to use the greens in this recipe?
Quoi?
Tu vas mettre la salade?
Oui, bien sûr.
Okay.
Someone is asking, what herbs do you grow at home?
Ah, I'm so excited. Okay, so we have mint that seems to be a perennial because we didn't replant it this year and it's already come back. And then we have lemon thyme and thyme, which we're planting next weekend. Cherry tomatoes.
Cherry tomatoes.
A lot of basil. I have an entire box that is dedicated towards basil that is going to be planted next weekend, hopefully. And we are going to be growing rosemary, sage, and what else are we growing? Sarriette. Summer savory. All the Provençal herbs, because we actually make our own blend of Herbe de Provence. I'll show this. Oh, pardon. Herbe de Provence is our favorite spice that we use. It's a mix of summer savory and rosemary and oregano and thyme. And it looks like this, and we're actually getting ready to be able to sell it on the website, which I'm really excited about.
Olives, black olives.
So olives, if you have Niçoise olives are are tiny little olives. This is a Kalamata olive, pitted. I always buy pitted olives because I hate pitting olives. But if you have Niçoise olives, they're about half this size, and they're really, really, they're amazingly flavorful. Kalamata olives work really well as well.
Yes. Let's remember our wedding trip.
Our honeymoon, he says wedding trip. Our honeymoon was in Kalamata and Costa Navarino in Greece. And so olives are special for us. That was in 2010. We were engaged for 5 years.
Now we have nice, fresh red bell pepper, and we have some cooked red bell pepper. It gives you some acidity, you know, and you have a different consistent and comment dire, goût, different taste.
Taste.
And it's very colorful, it's nice, you know. No potatoes, please.
Okay, a word on the potatoes. You can absolutely put potatoes. You can absolutely put green beans. I like to put potatoes and green beans in the recipe, or especially potatoes, because it adds more consistency and makes it more of a meal. But the authentic salade niçoise is with no green beans and no potatoes.
Yes.
And the bell peppers are cooked from a jar in olive oil. If you're cooking bell peppers, I would just put them under the broiler for a few minutes. Especially
Yes.
until they soften. But you can also use raw red peppers. Yes. Sebastian likes to take creative liberties. Trying to write down his recipes is like trying to catch a firefly in a bottle sometimes. He takes creative liberties with his recipes every time, so I apologize if you're following the recipe and you're like, this is not exactly what he's doing. He is embellishing, but know that you can embellish as well, and that you will never make a mistake, and it will, it's very hard to mess up a salad. Donc, il y a une question, est-ce qu'un gant en métal protège ta main si tu utilises la mandoline?
Oui, mais si tu vas doucement, tu sais, il n'y a pas besoin de... Mais ça protège, oui.
He says, yes, a metal glove would protect your hand if you're using the mandolin. I'm going to show you how he's chopping here. He's chopping in very thin slices. Do you want to show how you're doing that?
Yeah.
Slowly?
Yeah.
So he quartered the pepper into 4 and then is cutting horizontal strips or instead of vertical strips.
Yes.
See, these are the things that I love finding out about his cooking, because I've always cut my peppers vertically, and you get some thicker and curved slices, but see how he did? He has these flat, perfect little, yes, they're julienne, but I've always julienned the other way. And so it's little tips that I think of.
Sinon, on a julienne, c'est émincé.
Yes, émincé. Émincé. Okay.
Now, the more important, we are going to put the tuna.
Okay.
When you have the nice niçoise like that, here we are missing the artichokes. If you have the recipe, did they have the recipe?
Yes.
Yes. You're missing the artichokes, correct?
We could not find artichokes this morning, so maybe we're all trying to go to the same Whole Foods or Balducci's to find the artichokes, but we did not find artichokes this morning. But this is when you would put on the artichokes.
Yes. Avec un petit peu d'air. Donc.
There's a question here. My dough is very sticky. What shall I do from dough?
Add more flour into it. Continue to add sprinkle flour, not too much, like really just adding sprinkles of flour until you can move it. And even if it's sticky, still roll it out, because some of the sticky baguettes have become the most beautiful baguettes. Sticky dough does not mean that you are not going to succeed at your baguette. You just have to add enough flour that you can actually roll it out, and then let it rise, and have faith that if the yeast was working, your dough will rise and it will be amazing. So continue on.
Je veux montrer les salades déjà. On va mettre le
Oui. Et puis, est-ce que je peux mettre les baguettes?
Oui.
So this is what the salad looks like so far. It's a really pretty salad, but it's not done, because this we're going to season it, and it also doesn't have any tuna on it or the dressing. We're going to add that on as well, but I'm actually going to take a little break, because we're going to take a break from the salads, and we're going to put the baguettes in, We're coming up on the 30-minute mark, more like 25 minutes. And the baguettes are actually looking really good. So I think we'll be able to put them in the oven and we'll go from there. Sarah veut savoir quand est-ce que tu mets la laitue.
On va la mettre à la fin.
So,
because if we put this in advance, you are going to burn, the salad with the seasoning. This is why you have all of the vegetable, tomatoes, to have the natural vegetation juice. We are going to season with a little bit of lemon zest, do the vinaigrette, and after put the basil, eggs, tuna, and the salad at the end.
So you are learning an exclusive in the class because, of course, when I wrote the recipe, we put the salad underneath. But he's actually suggesting that you just add some of the salad on the top, and actually it makes a lot of sense because when you're putting the salad underneath, all of the juices of the vegetables come into the salad and make it a little bit soggy.
And today is more hot.
And today is hot, we want a fresher salad, and if you're taking the salad to a picnic, for example, it's great to have the vegetables on the bottom and then just sprinkle some salad on the top.
If you are going to eat the salad, in the next 20 minutes, for sure, you can put the salad underneath because you are going to have the crunchiness, it will be nice. If you serve this salad in 1 hour, or 2 hours, we put this on the top, because we don't recommend that to have this underneath, it will be soggy and cooked, not crunchy as
we want it. Okay, so we're gonna put the baguettes in. A very important part of baguettes is steam. So this is actually my grandmother's cake pan that I would not bake with anymore because it's rusted out, but I use it to steam my baguettes every time, and it makes me think of her, ma chère Nanny, every time I use this baguette pan. So I put about 2 inches of water into the baguette pan. Now, if you have into the loaf pan. If you have a brownie pan or another shaped pan, that's not a problem at all. The quantity of water doesn't really matter. It's just to create humidity in the oven. Now, it's important to note, I did not put this in a half hour ago as the oven was heating up. I'm really just adding it now so that you don't have an incredibly humid environment for the baguettes to go in. Oh. And so as you can see, the baguettes are really nice and puffy. One thing I forgot to do as I was talking to you is sprinkle a little bit of flour on the top. I like to sprinkle flour on the top because it gives an artisanal look to them. But you can also not sprinkle flour and it's perfectly fine. You can also sprinkle a little bit of salt if you want it on top of the baguettes. And we'll put them in the oven right on the middle rack with no rack above, above the water or your pan that has the water in it. And I'm actually going to set the timer for 20 minutes because I find that this oven runs hotter and cooks my baguettes hotter than the oven that I had before, that I was cooking baguettes for a solid 30 minutes. Here, I will get to a really nice coloration in about 20 minutes. So your ovens range so differently. Make sure that you are setting the timer for the lowest possible time and then keep on checking it until you have the color that you want. Also, something to note is that you can make different flavors of baguettes. Yes, I preheated the oven. It's at 450 now. There's different flavors that you can add into the, or 460, sorry, that you can add into the baguettes. After you've done the first proof and that it's in the big bowl, before you roll it out, you can add in rosemary, you can add in thyme, you can add in cheese, you can add in olives, you can add in all different kinds of additional flavors that are really nice in baguettes as well. We love when I add in rosemary, adds a great flavor and it's great with the cheese plate if you're doing baguette with your cheese plate. So we put them in, I've set the timer for 20 minutes and then we're just gonna leave them be. It's not like a souffle, so if you open the oven, it's not the end of the world. You want the oven to stay really nice and hot though. It's the effect of the steam and a really hot oven that makes that crust on the outside and soft on the inside. That's really great about a baguette. Back to you, Chef.
Now let's put a little bit of bite of the tuna. This is just the tuna, belly cook, poach, and this is a real recipe. The Niçoise salad, you know, is a salad of the pores, you know, like we say. And we use, you know, this type of tuna. On met des miettes.
There's many restaurants that like to serve Niçoise salad with tuna fillet that is lightly seared, which you absolutely can do. It doesn't make for a bad salad, it makes for a great salad. But the authentic Niçoise salad is a recipe of fishermen and of produce farmers that are having lunch together on the Cours Salea in Nice, and so they would use the tuna belly that is boiled, really, c'est bouilli, it's boiled, with the vegetables that are left over that they were not able to sell at the market. So it's a really cool beginning to the salad, and we like to have the authentic Niçoise at home, because heaven forbid if I were to add green beans into the salad.
No potato.
Or potatoes. The French, they often, this is something I picked up as I'm preparing for the Salad Saturday series, is that in North America, we add grains to salad a lot. We make grain bowls. The French do not. They like to have vegetables in their salad and protein, and they're actually getting the grain from the baguettes because they're always eating baguettes with salad.
Now for the seasoning, you know, it's very important. I'm going to put more olive oil on the top of the salad. Look at that. Look at that.
He's adding a lot of olive oil. We love olive oil.
Fleur de sel.
Pardon, je l'ai rangé.
Et un petit peu écorce de citron.
So I'm going to have to amend the Niçoise recipe now because he's adding lemon zest to it, and I think that that's going to stay in our repertoire.
Microplane, lemon. Now we are going to cut the eggs that are cooked, you know, they are nice. We can cut them in four, you know, it's... Je veux montrer comment ils sont bien.
So this is a 10-minute egg?
Yes.
So this is a 10-minute egg, and as you can see, it's bright yellow inside, and the consistency is hard. If we were doing an 8-minute egg, it would be a little bit softer inside. I kind of like an 8-minute egg because it's a little bit runny inside. This is a 10-minute egg, bright yellow. If it's gray inside, it means the egg is overcooked. And I remember seeing gray eggs all the time when I was a kid. You go over to someone's house, they're making egg salad, there's always a gray yolk inside it because the eggs are boiled to every inch of their life. So it's nice to have a bright yellow yolk.
Someone is asking to see the cutting board. I mean,
yeah. Oh, sorry.
It was quite straightforward, just cut in 4.
So he cut them in half and then cut those halves in half. And one day, and Natasha knows that this is a pet peeve of mine, I will have a kitchen that has an island in the center where I can just set up my audiovisual equipment and be looking at you and cooking. But we have our little galley kitchen, so we improvise as we go along.
Yes. Now we are going to finish.
Or a cooking show. A cooking show.
Yes, we are going to finish with a nice piece of basil. You cannot have a Niçoise salad without basil. This is a real one, and you have something fresh, you know. You put this on the table.
C'est quand que tu ajoutes le balsamique? Tu as ajouté le vinaigre à l'échalote.
Vinaigre échalote, puis on va remettre un petit peu.
He already added some of the vinegar à l'échalote.
So,
you put it on top of the tomatoes, didn't you?
The vinegar, you know, you put on the top of the tomatoes on the base. Why? Because you have the vegetation juice of the tomatoes, and you are going to have this base with water of tomato, olive oil, fleur de sel, vinegar. You know, you like to put the bread, you know, on it. The saucé, we call this saucé in French, you know. It's very nice.
You sop up the dressing with the baguette.
Yes, and the vinegar came at this time. After that, you put the vinegar, you know, when we send this on the dining room, on the barbecue, you know.
When you serve it.
Yes, when we serve it. Tu veux montrer la salade, la première?
So he's artfully adding ingredients. Est-ce que c'est fini?
C'est fini.
We have a,
Et normalement, tu as les artichauts.
wait, okay. So this is what the finished salade niçoise looks like. You would normally have asparagus, or sorry, artichokes in there as well. Chérie, t'as pas ajouté de la salade? We're missing the salad. But just show.
We're missing the salad and the vinegar, but this is a base, you know.
What?
You want to serve it now, we can put the salad and the vinegar.
So you can see how easy it is to actually make a salad that looks like this. And you know, the most important thing is good ingredients. Go to the farmer's market. The farmer's markets now are getting so full of incredible vegetables and fruits. Go to the farmer's market, pick up what you can, and you can throw this together with a can of tuna that you have in your pantry.
And the salad and the salad.
You want to add the salad in?
The mesclun salad, le mesclun, we call in French, you know, the mix of salad, you know. It's very simple. It's a mix of the 4 kinds of salad made by un moine, par les moines.
A monk.
A monk, you know. Why? Because at this time, you know, sur les hauteurs de Nice.
On the hills of Nice.
Yes. It was always very hot, you know, and they just have, you know, the salad they make, you know, and they call this the mesclun that they go to sell to the market.
Mm-hmm. You can also use butter lettuce for this.
Yes, if you want.
Sebastian is less about the actual lettuce and more about the vegetables.
Yes.
And the decoration.
And
That
the
one is
decoration.
asking, yes, what kind of, Suzanne is asking, what kind of canned tuna do you recommend?
The best one, you know, will be probably Ortiz, you know, but always cook in the water, you know. Water
You don't
tuna.
want tuna in oil. Et je pense que ça c'est maman. Hello, maman. Yes, we wouldn't use tuna in oil, always tuna in water and light flaky tuna.
Chunks
Flakes.
or flakes? I think it was
Flakes.
chunks, right?
No, it's flakes, no?
Oh, okay.
C'est flakes ou chunk, the same.
Oh, the same?
Because after that, you are going to whip it.
He says you rip it apart anyways. And so, do you want to show the can of tuna that we have?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes in chunks and then you sort of separate them with your fingers.
So what he used here is tonino. This is actually a jar, which is tonino tuna fillets in spring water.
Yeah,
This is a bit of a fancier tuna,
it's not a filet, you know. They call this filet, but this is really, you know, the ventrèche, you know.
the belly.
Yeah.
But you can use like the canned tuna that you see in supermarkets as well for this. We've used Centro tuna as well, but best is Ortiz if you can find it.
Now we put, you know, a lot of salad on the top. Came, you know, the moment where you are going to adjust and put more vinegar on the top. Je vais montrer la salade, ma chérie.
Oui, je montre la salade maintenant. So this is with the mesclun greens on the top, and now what he did differently. Tu peux pas faire la vinaigrette avec la basilic au fond? So we're gonna do the vinaigrette that I have that we put on the blog. That has the basil inside it. I really think that this vinaigrette is amazing. It was very hard to like sit him down and be like, exactly how did you do that vinaigrette? Because adding in basil and the vinegar and the olive oil and the flaky sea salt, it just makes all the difference. And also that you mix it well before putting it on the salad. So my husband was executive chef of Le Méridien Nice, which is the largest hotel in Nice.
Yes.
That being said, it's only 300 rooms and it's #1 Promenade des Anglais. And he was executive chef there for 6 years. So Salade Niçoise is really his specialty. He served so many Salade Niçoise on #1 Promenade des Anglais. And that's really where we got married as well, was on the beach of Le Méridien Nice. It was amazing. Let me show you this photo.
You should go back sometime and sort of bring us there
Yes.
through your social media.
Oh, it's just...
This was us at our wedding day on the ponton in Nice.
Yes. For the vinaigrette, you know, we are going to put 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I like you to use the olive oil when it's 100% of the same olives. In occurrence, I always, you know, love the Tadjaska olive from a region close to Turin. Why? Because the Tadjaska, it's an olive oil that gives you a sense of fruit, you know, without the acidity. And I really like that. 4 tablespoons. After, you know, on this one, you put 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. You can use shallot vinegar. You can use raspberry vinegar. You know, it's up to you. I like the shallot vinegar as well as the balsamic, you know, because it's always
Higher
a
acidity.
valeur sûre. Oh.
Sounds spicy.
Look at that. You see the nice color, and you cannot smell, but this is very nice.
Bastien, can you repeat the name of the olive oil from Milan or Turin? Because somebody asked.
Yes, from Turin, you know, I like to use, you know, olive nostre. It's very nice, but I like, you know, different brand. You know, you can find. We are not going to do the name of all of the brand, you know, but when you have a nice olive oil that is not a blend and that use, you know, 100% of olive Tadjaska, it is very nice. The best one for me, and I don't like to name it, but this is Terre Borman. You know Terre Borman? Terre Borman, it's very nice, you know, it's very... Tu veux montrer le torchon aussi? Or you have Isnardi. Isnardi is the best brand for me. 100% Tadjaska. Isnardi olive oil or Terre Borman. Very nice. Now we put a pinch of salt on our vinaigrette.
So on the recipe, we also had a clove of garlic. We don't have a clove of garlic today. I don't know why we don't have
And
garlic.
we don't need to put garlic. I think it's good. We have garlic here.
Ah, good.
Yeah, we have garlic.
Oh, we do. There we go.
Yeah.
Sebastian's very favorite vinaigrette is vinaigrette à l'ail, which is basically garlic, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and salt mixed together, whipped together. And he just loves that on a salad. So vinaigrette à l'ail. So this is kind of a morph of the garlic vinaigrette that he makes with basil. I'm gonna check on my baguettes. They're actually looking rather dark.
For the garlic, you know, you just cut in half. You take out the inside. Tu veux montrer la planche, même si je recule, il ne voit pas la planche.
Okay. I'm going to show you the cutting board again.
We are going to slice, you know, the half clove in 4. And after you are going to slice it very thin.
Ça s'appelle comment, the technique que tu utilises? What technique is this?
Émincé.
This is
Émincé.
émincé. I can't say that word again. Thank you, Sarah. So that's making for very tiny little squares of garlic. That being said, you can also use a garlic press if you have a garlic press.
Yeah, yes, you can use a garlic press, or let's say, you know, you don't have a garlic press. We are to do something very quick and very nice. Look at that. The half garlic clove, you know, with a knife. Take the bottom of the knife, you know, and you are just going to mettre un coup.
You're just going to press on it with the palm of your hand?
Yes, like that. And now you have, you know, the garlic, you know, very much, and you can, you know, do the same thing, and it's more easy if you prefer.
Tu veux une fouet? Do you want a whisk?
Non, c'est bien.
No, you're okay.
So the vinaigrette à l'ail contains 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, a pinch of salt, and 4 cloves of garlic, right?
Yes.
And 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped basil is what we're adding on.
Yeah, the basil, we are going to make it now. As you can see, you see, it smells very nice with the garlic, the vinegar, and we are going to put, the basil. The basil, the leaves, you can take, the bigger leaves. You roll your leaves like that. Roll it. And we are going to émincer très finement.
So this is called chiffonade.
C'est ça.
And it's how you cut fresh herbs so they get those long, thin strips. Is by rolling them together as like you would roll a cigar, actually. You roll the leaves together and then you slice them.
Now you have your vinaigrette, it's finished. You can see. It's not a herb vinaigrette, it's a, the nice vinaigrette with basil, garlic. If you had put, this vinaigrette on the top of the salad before you serve, you are going to burn.
Yes.
Ça va brûler.
So when you're ready to serve it, you would drizzle this vinaigrette on top. I'm going to bring this up here. On va mettre sur une.
Oui.
Tu peux le faire?
Tu
Tu mets l'assiette?
te vois pas.
Tu mets l'assiette? There we go. And we're going to drizzle this vinegar. It smells so delicious. Now this salad you would pair with a rosé wine, a crisp Provençal rosé would go beautifully, or a Provençal white. What's really nice about Provençal wines is that they're very dry and so very fresh tasting.
Now the salad is ready to serve. You can...
Voilà la salade niçoise, the authentic salade niçoise, which is very hard to find, but we are so happy that you'll be able to make this at home now. And you will know when you go into restaurants whether you're getting an authentic salade niçoise or a reinterpretation of la salade niçoise. And now we are ready to take out les baguettes. And they've got a rich caramel color. My timer is going to go in 20 seconds, but I think it's actually time for them to come out. And we're happy to share this recipe because this recipe means so much to us because Nice was our beginnings. It's where we lived for 8 years. It's where we had our first apartment together. It's where we got married. It's where I had my first job in hotels. It's where Sébastien had his first hotel executive chef role.
No, la Vignettoise.
La Vignettoise. Okay.
Quand
même. But Nice is very important to us. And we're really happy to share this recipe of authentique salade niçoise. So I'm going to take out les baguettes. There's my timer. That was for 20 minutes and they're looking good. They're looking rich in caramel in color. Oh. Sont belles. Voilà, sont belles. I forgot to put the flour on them, so that's what the difference is between those and this baguette, as you can see here. The baguette that I sprinkled the flour on before proving them, and then the baguette without the flour. Also see the difference in the baguettes in the way that they were cut. So the baguette that was scored, you can see the scoring here, and the baguette that was scored en épis with the scissors is on the right here, and it has these terrible pieces that you can tear apart. Now, the way that you know a good baguette, oh, hair's so hot. What's really cool here is you want to listen to the sound. So the crust is really, yes, terrible, not terrible. Thanks, Mama. The crust is hard and crusty on the outside, which is really, really nice.
Yes.
And then when you break it inside, tu veux dire bonjour, Valentina? Oh, show this outfit to Mama. Tu peux dire bonjour à Maman? Say hello. And my daughter is actually wearing my Cinco de Mayo outfit when I was a kid. And we lived in New Mexico. That was my Cinco de Mayo outfit. Oh. Okay, so the baguette, moment of truth, is when you tear it open and you hear the sound.
It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle.
Okay, I'm going to tear open the baguette. One second. Okay, you ready? I'm going to burn my hands on this. 1, 2, 3. The door open on the side. But you can see the steam escaping from the baguette. The inside smells so good. It's that fresh. He's already grabbing it to eat it. You can see on the inside, so it's light and fluffy on the inside here, and you can push it, and it's got that crusty sound. It's good. C'est bon, non? C'est super bon. So we are going to go to a barbecue this evening, and we have our Salade Niçoise and our French baguette, and I'm looking forward to enjoying a barbecue. So that is our class for today. Any questions for us? We managed to do this exactly in the timing that we said we would. Any questions for us?
It looks amazing, really. I would probably suggest that if I saw people cooking along, does anyone else want to show the result? Maybe the salad? We would love to see right now if you want. I saw Mary was cooking. Yes.
Anina, somebody is asking you if there is a cookbook.
Soon.
Wonderful. Mary Bluser was just showing her baguettes and her salad. Looks amazing. I don't know if you can see it, Anina Belle.
See it. Let me see. Now I can see everybody. Let me see the baguettes and the salad. Hi. Thank you.
You see now, right?
Very nice.
Beautiful. Too. Beautiful.
Missy, say wonderful, delicious. The baguette.
Oh,
The baguettes are perfect.
Aren't they amazing? Like, this is game changer. I feel like my life is so much better since I've learned to make baguettes at home because I can do them in 2 hours. Now, this is, again, it's a super simple, not fancy baguette recipe, but I keep on coming back to this because it's so easy to do and the result is consistent. You can make better baguettes with homemade sourdough and with better quality flour and so many different variances. But I keep on coming back to this recipe because they're so simple.
Very delicious. No butter required.
No butter required. Yes, and to the cookbook comments, santé.
I also saw baguettes from Maria Gauchal. Very, very beautiful.
Oh,
And I see Margaret. I saw Margaret. Margaret, did you participate in the macaron making as well? Yes. Thank you. This looks amazing. Yes.
Oh, they look beautiful. Oh, thank you, Maria.
Yes, great. Looks amazing. C'est
Oh
très
my
beau.
gosh. This is incredible. When I'm doing the class, I'm not able to flip through the screen and look at everybody who's participating. So it's wonderful to see your faces. Thank you so much for showing what you're cooking. There is no cookbook out, but there is, a Salad Saturday ebook. So if you're not signed up on my blog for the Salad Saturday series, please do so. It's the last blog post. It's called Summer Salads on lechefswife.com. And you can actually join my email list and I will send you for free my top 5 salad recipes. And so you will have those as soon as you sign up, and then you'll be the first to know every time I publish a new recipe. I try to publish a recipe every week. Sometimes it's challenging because I have a full-time job in addition to being a mom of 2. And so I don't always get to do my blog posts as regularly as I like to, depending on what's happening, but I try to do once a week, at least.
Anina, somebody is asking if you could do a class on summer tarts. And
Les tartes.
tarte aux
Oh, we
fruits.
can do that. Yeah. We can do that.
Or something
We
like
can do
that.
that.
Yeah, because Sebastian's crème pâtissière recipe is
Oh, the
unbelievable.
soufflé. When is the next soufflé?
I don't know. When is the next soufflé class? We should do a soufflé class as well again.
We should definitely
Yes.
plan for that.
His crème pâtissière recipe is really, really good. And so I would highly recommend using that.
Yes.
And then also the way that he cuts his fruit is game-changing as well in making that beautiful presentation of a summer tart. So it really elevates the summer tart.
The more important in the salad, you make at home. First, it's all of your small touch, But when you have the base, it's amazing.
Mm.
When you have a fresh salad with a list of ingredients, like the Niçoise, you don't want to have a lot of salad and 3 cherry tomatoes and 2 pinch of radish, You want all of these condiments, because it's almost, a salad repas. And when you have this, and you share, you have all of the taste in the same bite, I want to say. You have the cooked red bell pepper, tuna, eggs, capers, and you say, wow, it's nice. When you have too much salad, and you take a bite, aïe, aïe, aïe.
It's not as good.
C'est différent. C'est différent.
I saw a question about how to keep baguettes fresh. Baguettes are good served immediately out of the oven. If you're going to serve them the next day, there's actually a trick for making them taste like they're immediately out of the oven. You keep your baguettes rolled up in a cotton towel like this one. I keep my baguettes rolled up in a tea towel, even if they're half open.
Yes.
And then when you're ready to serve them, even if it's the next day or the day after or the day after that, I've done it up to 4 or 5 days after the baguettes. Preheat your oven to 350 and make sure it's really hot, like it's at a full 350, and then put your baguette in for 5 minutes. Leave it in the oven for 5 minutes, not on a cookie sheet, just directly on the rack, and then take it out and it will be like it just came out of the oven on the first day. So no need to put it in plastic or anything like that, because then you get a mushy baguette. You want the hard crust on the outside. I'm really happy with this baguette. It's really good. Any other questions? No? C'est bon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
We
much.
love cooking.
I'm baking mine right now. It's smelling so good right now. Yes, thank you so much for everyone for being here, cooking along, showing your results. It all look amazing. Thank you, Anina Belle and Sébastien, for being with us again and again. It's always such a pleasure to have you. So much fun. We learned so much. And do not forget, our next one is on July 9th. We are going to be making, Anina Belle and Sébastien will be making farci niçoise, les farcis niçoises, for the Bastille Day themed event.
The real recipe of the farci niçoise.
Your grandmother's recipe.
Yes.
Real one, yes.
Tu sais que tu as dit que ça, c'était la recette qui a été déposée à l'UNESCO. C'est la vraie recette par le cercle niçois, élaborée. C'est la
He
vraie.
wants me to specify that this recipe is the Niçoise recipe that is registered in UNESCO. So it's actually property of UNESCO for Nice, this salad recipe. So it's not our recipe. This is the authentic Niçoise recipe. So thank you so much for coming into our kitchen this afternoon. We are thrilled to have you. Please follow along Le Chef's Wife on Instagram. Sign up for the blog email list, and you'll sign up as well for the summer salad menu and have the Salad Saturday series. I encourage
the Parisian salad with potatoes.
Yes.
Oui.
The next salad is La Parisienne, which is a potato salad with ham and gruyere and a homemade mayonnaise that is out of this world, which is also great for barbecues. But please sign up and make sure that you're sharing your salads with the hashtag Salad Saturday series. Even if it's not a French salad, I would love to see which salads you're making, because I think there's an incredible community that is built around sharing what we are eating and what we're getting enjoyment out of. In the same way that we did with the Soup Sunday Challenge, I was inspired by recipes from all over the world for making soup. So I hope to see you there. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt.
Merci, à bientôt. La baguette est très bonne.
Madame et monsieur,
Sorry?
est-ce que vous faites, madame et monsieur, est-ce que vous faites des croissants ou des pains au chocolat?
Mais oui, bien sûr. On peut faire ça.
On peut tout faire. Vous parlez très très bien français. Hein?
On peut tout faire.
Merci.
Bravo.
On peut montrer.
Merci beaucoup à vous et puis à bientôt.
Merci. Merci.
Bye.